I said earlier that I wanted to introduce us, perhaps for the first time for some, to the notion of Ignatian spirituality. Sounds a bit daunting, doesn't it? Like most theological words, we manage to make things sound very, very scary. It shouldn't be. Ignatius is somebody's name. He was Saint Ignatius of Loyola, one of the founders of the Jesuit order. And Ignatius taught that our spirituality can be brought alive by active use of our God-given powers of imagination. He advised that we should spend time imagining the great biblical stories and then seeing ourselves within them and allowing ourselves, and therefore our Christian discipleship, to be shaped by them. So this morning, I want to invite you to engage in a little Ignatian spirituality with me. I promise it won't be embarrassing at all. No? All I want you to do, or invite you to do, is to close your eyes and to listen only to my voice. First of all, I want you to relax. Focus on your breathing. In, out. In, out. Become conscious of your body. Gently wiggle your toes. Feel your nerves sending messages from your brain and back again. Feel how your body's connected to the seat beneath you. Feel your breath. In, out. In, out. Now let's fire up your imagination. Sail through the air to the Sea of Gennesaret, also known as the Sea of Galilee. You are by the shoreline. The sun is hot on your face, and the sound of seabirds is in the air. All around you, there are crowds of people. Everyone is here to hear the words of this new prophet, Jesus. There are so many people all pressing against each other, getting close enough to hear what this Jesus has to say. There are so many that Jesus himself is in danger of being pushed into the water. Nearby are a couple of boats, fishing boats with rough, tough fishermen on board. You see Jesus hail one of the boats to the shore. He climbs in and he asks the fisherman to row a few yards from the shore. That's better. Jesus can see the whole crowd now. He can look at you and everyone standing with you on the shore. Jesus gestures for everyone to sit down as he takes a seat in the boat, as rabbis did. There's a moment of silence. Then Jesus begins to speak. What does he say to you? Perhaps he speaks of what his kingdom is like. Perhaps he tells you one of his fabulous stories, the Good Samaritan, or the story of the wheat and the tares. Or perhaps he says something only to you in the depths of your soul. Take a moment in silence to listen to what the Master is saying to you. The time of teaching is over, and Jesus says farewell to the crowd, promising to teach them again tomorrow. One by one, the crowd drifts away, but you remain on the shore, longing for more. Jesus notices you and he invites you to wade out into the boat to join him and the fishermen. Now you are in the boat, and Jesus is encouraging all of you to throw out your nets. One of the fishermen, Simon, well, he's a bit dubious. He says, "We've been at it all night. We haven't caught anything yet, but if you say so, then we'll do it." Jesus insists, and they throw their nets out onto the water. Suddenly, the water is alive. Fish are splashing and slapping the water, wriggling and writhing in the nets. Simon calls you over to give a hand, and together you and Simon and Jesus are hauling on the nets together, laughing out loud, pulling the nets and all the fish into the boat. The same thing is happening in the other boat too. There are so many, the boat even looks like it might sink. When the last of the nets has been hauled into the boat, Simon kneels down. You watch him kneel in front of Jesus on the deck, and you kneel beside him. Together, you look up at Jesus. Simon has awe in his eyes. "I think you'd better get away from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." But Jesus just smiles. He looks down at Simon and at you and says, "Don't be afraid. Follow me. And from now on, you will be catching people." How does that make you feel? Jesus has just called you and Simon to follow him. He wants you to rearrange the priorities of your life so that your first and greatest task of every day is to lead people to him. How do you feel? Are you wondering what gifts and talents you can possibly bring to such an awesome task? Are you wondering how you could possibly do such a thing? How do you feel? Take a moment to let what has just happened sink in. What do you need to change as a result of this encounter with Jesus? And now it's time to come back home. So I invite you to become conscious of where you are physically once again. Feel the seat beneath you. Sense the people around you. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that experience. I'll be very interested in your feedback after today's service and indeed online. Ignatian exercises like that are very useful ways of bringing the stories of Jesus to life. And there's just a couple of things I'd like to say, just a couple of sentences really, to wrap up. First, never forget that Jesus called ordinary people to carry out his work for him. He didn't call the lawyers and the priests. He called the fishermen and the carpenters and the civil servants. He has never stopped calling them. And secondly, let me just leave you with this challenging thought. If everyone here today had the courage to ask just one friend or one family member to come with them to church, the congregation here would double overnight. Please don't make the mistake of thinking that the church website or the Corona Chronicle will do the job for you. Even more so, never assume that your parish priest has the skills or the time to do the work of fishing for people on behalf of the whole congregation. The task of calling people to faith, the task of being fishers for people, is mine and it is yours. Amen.